All right, so we are back. What's going on, everybody? So, not able to do a video, full thing, full camera, all that good jazz here tonight, but just wanted to bring you guys a quick recap. And I'll make this one brief because there's not a whole lot to talk about. The Indiana Pacers, again, lose their second straight game here tonight. They lose to the Spurs in a game where just looked off all night long. 117 to 105 is the score. And the Pacers, the last two games, I'll just be honest, they look like a team that frankly doesn't want to be in the playoffs. I mean, it feels like just everybody's in the slump right now for the Pacers when it comes to pretty much everything. I mean, the Pacers shooting only 44%, only only 20% from the three-point line. And just overall, just another poor performance by the Pacers. Just not really finding consistently shooting the basketball. And I think it starts with Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, he has just been the last couple games, especially really since his return after that injury. He has just not been the same. He just really has not been the same. It's been kind of actually baffling how poor he has been really post injury here. And again, I know that Tyrese Halliburton is dealing with some stuff. It's very obvious that he's dealing with some stuff. I know a lot of people right now are really, questioning Tyrese Halliburton and, is he the guy for the Indiana Pacers? I do feel like he still is the guy. I think he's in just this weird slump right now. And obviously he's not healthy fully as well. But I mean, you look at the last two games for Tyrese. I mean, averaging only 6 points per game, 17%, and has been 0 from 12 from the 3 point line. And so it's just been really, really tough for Tyrese Halliburton to get it going, really. And he's got to figure this out because he's your superstar. He's the guy that leads your lineup. And man, you think if Tyrese can actually get some stuff going here, I mean, how good could the Pacers actually be? I mean, the fact that Pacers lost by 12, but they were still in this game despite how bad Tyrese Halliburton played tonight. I mean, 12 points, 4-16 shooting, missed every single one of his 3 point attempts, negative 14 in the point differential there. Just an all around very, very poor performance for him. And it's very concerning that Tyrese is clearly not himself right now. And the Pacers got to figure this out. If that means resting Tyrese for a while till he's fully back, then so be it. You just cannot continue to put him out there when he's clearly not at full health right now. But it's not just Tyrese. He's obviously the guy that you point to, the guy that everybody looks at. And he obviously is in a slump right now, and it's not good. But, I mean, everybody really not playing well right now. Aaron Neesmith, Andrew Nembhard, these guys aren't really doing a whole lot. For the Pacers. TJ McConnell, we'll give him props. He played well off the bench. Matherin also had 13 points off the bench as well. I mean, TJ McConnell was single-handedly why are you even in this game to begin with. And so I want to definitely give him his flowers as he definitely deserves that. But, I mean, put it simply, the last two games for the Indiana Pacers, to be honest, the Pacers don't deserve the playoffs with how poor they're playing right now. This team looks lost. They don't have an identity on either side of the floor. It's honestly kind of getting to the point where you're like, man, how much of a loss was Buddy Hield for that chemistry piece? The Pacers just do not look like they have any chemistry right now on the court. And it's definitely concerning. It really is concerning. Again, hopefully the Pacers can figure it out sooner rather than later. Also, it just seems like Rick Carlisle has just been out of his element as of recent. Again, how much do you blame Rick Carlisle versus how much do you blame the players for simply just not shooting well at all? I don't know how much blame you guys put on both those pieces here, coaching and just the players going out there and executing. But it's obvious that things aren't working right now for the Pacers. They got to regroup. They got to figure some things out because they can't afford to be dropping games here against teams like this, like the Spurs, who are right there at the bottom of the league record-wise. And the Pacers have just been doing this all year. And that's what makes me think for the Indiana Pacers, let's be honest, this is a very unserious team, right? And Wemby, obviously, I want to give him his props. He's a fantastic young player. But, man, the Pacers don't look like they want it. I mean, they look like a team that's already going out there feeling defeated. And that's not the type of thing you want. And again, if you want to make the playoffs, you got to find ways to win, even when you're playing badly. And the Pacers are not doing that. They're finding ways to lose. And so that's not a good thing. To me, I've always pointed that back to coaching. At the end of the day, it's like, hey, you know what? Like, I know sometimes players play bad and issues happen, but ultimately, when it comes to the end of the day, if your team can't figure out things, and how to win, I do put that on coaching to some degree. And so, whatever it looks like for the Pacers, they definitely got to figure it out here. But yeah, it's been rough, man. It's been really rough for the Pacers. And I do hope that Tyrese, like I said, can get healthy, can figure some things out, because if he can do that, I have the utmost faith that he can get back to where he was. And I do think this is an outlier for how Tyrese is playing, through his time in Indiana and his time as a player. And of course, as it is with fandom, people can turn on you just like that. As soon as you start playing poorly, all of a sudden it's like all the questions come up and things like that. Tyrese knows that. He understands that. And so I'm hoping that he can just do whatever he needs to do, even if that means sitting out for a while. If he can figure it out and he can get back and be fully healthy, you know what? I count that as a win, honestly, even if that means you missed out on the playoffs this year, because ultimately Tyrese is going to lead your franchise, and you're going to go as far as Tyrese takes you. And right now he's clearly not the player that you want him to be, with the injuries and just the inconsistencies right now. And so whatever it takes to get him back, even if he's out for a while, I think personally you got to do what you got to do at this point. So let me know your guys' thoughts here on the Pacers game. Very frustrating game, and the Pacers look a very unserious team. And to be honest with you, they look like a team that's not a good team. They really don't look like a good team right now. They look like a very mid team that, while they can definitely, and they have the talent to challenge any team, they also cannot be consistent and when it matters, and they cannot win these games that they must win. And when you look at that, I mean, it's crazy to say, man, that the Pacers are a team that have beaten the Celtics this year, but they've also lost to, some of the worst teams in the NBA. It's very confusing. This team doesn't have an identity. They got to figure some stuff out, because if this continues, the Pacers are going to be really easily finding themselves in a play-in scenario, and you never want to be there. So, guys, let me know your thoughts here on the Pacers right now. Kind of a bad state of the franchise right now for the Pacers as of recent. But again, hopefully Tyrese can get healthy and can figure some things out, and they can get going forward. So let me know your guys' thoughts. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Pacers.